Welcome to another edition of Talking Politics with Dotun Oladipo. I am your regular host, Dotun Oladipo, the managing editor of the Eagle Online, operating at www.theeagleonline.com.ng. In this edition, we are going to be interrogating the perceived roles of the Independent National Electoral Commission and its Resident Electoral Commissioner, Mike Igini, in the crisis rocking the Akwa Ibom State Chapter of the All Progressives Congress, which may, in the long run, deny the party the opportunity of fielding a candidate for the 2023 governorship election, and which may also see to 24 other candidates recognized by INEC for the same election, but who did not partake in the primaries, recognized by the national leadership of the APC. According to available information, out of the 26 candidates put forward by the APC in Akwa Ibom State for other levels of elections, INEC only recognized 2 from the primaries of the party it supervised, but reportedly chose 24 others from primaries it did not supervise. Let us begin from the inception of the crisis. At some point in the life of the APC in Akwa Ibom State, there were 2 factions. There was the one led by Stephen Ntukeku and another by Augustine Ekanem. While the Ntukeku-led executives are said to be loyal to Godswill Akpabio, a former minister of Niger Delta Affairs, that of Ekanem had been reportedly backed by John Apanu-Dohe, a former national secretary of the APC Caretaker Committee. But it is worthy of note that the former national secretary of the Caretaker Committee has since defected to the new Nigeria People's Party and will be flying the flag of the party for the governorship election in 2023. However, there were 3 significant developments that led to the recognition of the Ntukeku-led executive. One was a letter to the INEC by the National Secretary of the APC, Senator Yola Omishori, which was backed by the outcome of the primaries that saw to the election of the Ntukeku-led executive, where Ntukeku himself emerged the chairman. According to the results from the primaries, which was also sent to the Independent National Electoral Commission, Ntukeku scored 1,006 votes during the poll. Closest to him was Ekanem, who scored 273 votes. And then there was Otu Itatoyo, who had 190 votes. There were other contestants for that election, but Ntukeku led. The second reason was the recognition of the Ntukeku-led executive by a federal high court in Abuja. The judgment of the court, where Justice Taiwo presided in March 2022 in Abuja, led to the sacking of the Ekanem-led executives, with Justice Taiwo describing it as illegal. Justice Taiwo also directed the Independent National Electoral Commission to recognize the Ntukeku-led executives, saying they are the duly elected officials of the party in Akwa Ibom State. And then the third was a letter from the national headquarters of the INEC itself, specifically to Rec Igini, which said that the commission was going to abide by the decision of the Federal High Court, presided over by Justice Taiwo. The letter, signed by the National Secretary of INEC, Rose Oriara Anthony, said, "The commission wishes to formally draw your attention to the subsisting judgment order of the Federal High Court Abuja, suit number FHC/ABJ/CS/1635/2021, which recognized Honorable Obong Stephen Leo Ntukeku as the chairman of the APC in Akwa Ibom State." It added, "This is to note that the commission is complying with the contents of the judgment." That was the letter to Igini. But Igini, who has appeared on several television programs to defend his position on the recognition of another faction of the APC, contrary to what the national headquarters of the INEC and the court pronounced, has submitted a report to the national headquarters saying that it stands by the Ekanem-led executives In the report, Igini said a governorship primary was scheduled to hold at the Shiagrace Arena in Uyo, that's the Akwa Ibom state capital. But that did not hold, according to him. He said he was later informed that another primary, organized by the Ntukepo-led executives, held at a different venue. He said that primary was not recognized. But the INEC recognized candidate for Eket, Ona Esik Eket, Ibenu Federal Constituency of Akwa Ibom State, and a former member of the House of Representatives, Honorable Eseme Eyibo, has questioned the role of Igini in the old saga in the APC. He said Igini's position does not reflect the impartiality expected of the Independent National Electoral Commission. Eyibo said Igini was pandering to the alleged antics of Akpanu Deho, whom he accused of taking advantage of his position as a former national secretary of the party to cause crisis. He accused the former national secretary of populating the party with executives not recognized by the national leadership of the party. He said this was what led the Ntukepo executives to go to court, and then the judgment by Justice Taiwo Taiwo. Eseme Ekwolu said the party gave the mandatory 21 days notice to INEC, informing it of its primaries, and that Ntukepo wrote to INEC on this development. He said it was the responsibility of INEC to engage its system to monitor the primaries as told by the APC. But INEC did not, because Rec Igini did not send anyone to the primaries. Eyibo said this was because of the vested interest of the Resident Electoral Commissioner. He said instead of being an impartial judge, Rec Igini went to the primaries of the other faction not recognized by the national leadership of the party, and then the court judgment, which came 2 months before the primaries of the party. And owing to this, he said the other faction, led by Ekanem, had been making all efforts to ensure that the party does not have a candidate. In his own opinion, this is more to favor the former national secretary, who is flying the flag of the NMPP at the 2023 election. Eseme Eyibo said Igini is acting against his oath of office and should be called to order. In the case of Godswill Akpabio, who is seeking to become the representative, the candidate of the party for Akwa Ibom Northwest Senatorial District, Igini has refused to recognize him, saying another candidate was recognized based on the fact that he partook in the primaries supervised by the Independent National Electoral Commission. The major grounds against Akpabio was the fact that he contested in the presidential primaries of the APC, and that he couldn't have taken part in primaries, 2 primaries at that, of a party within the same electoral cycle. But Eseme Eyibo is arguing that the moment Akpabio has met the guidelines of the party and the Electoral Act, he can seek for another position within the party after he lost the presidential primaries to the eventual winner, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He said INEC was written by the party in this case, and that Akpabio submitted his senatorial forms to the Independent National Electoral Commission after he had won the primaries and all the documents indeed sent to INEC. But the case Akpabio now appears to be strictly that of having taken part in 2 primaries in the same election cycle, an act frowned on by the Electoral Act. The exercise, which saw Akwa Ibom win the senatorial ticket, followed the withdrawal of Ekperikpe Ekpo, who had won in an earlier primary that was later cancelled by the party. However, the Akwa Ibom REC is insisting that INEC officials did not honor any primary outside the one conducted on May 27, which was won by Udom Ekpodom, a retired Deputy Inspector General of Police. Meanwhile, INEC has published names of candidates elected during the primary organized by the Ntuzeko-led executives. Akwa Ibom's name was not among, though the APC had submitted its name as its candidate for Akwa Ibom Northwest Senatorial District. Based on the altercation between the party and INEC, the police have invited Ntukepo to answer to a case of impersonation and forgery. It was said that a primary falsity case had been established against him for forgery and perjury. This was contained in the legal advice from the police legal unit addressed to the Deputy Inspector General of Police, 1st Criminal Investigation Department, 4th Headquarters, Abuja. That advice was titled Re, Case of Forgery and Perjury, and signed by the Commissioner of Police, Legal / Prosecution Section, 1st Criminal Investigation Department in Abuja, DCP Ochogu Ogwe. That advice absolved Igini of any blame in whatever is going on in the Akwa Ibom State Chapter of the APC. It also said Ekanem remains the duly elected chairman of the APC in Akwa Ibom State. One party member, Yusuf Sheriff Banki, had complained to the police in a letter and requested for legal advice on the case of forgery and perjury against Ntukepo. According to the police, the petitioner in the case had written to the Inspector General of Police, Baba Usman, stating that he was the chairman of the APC Congress Committee for Akwa Ibom State during the primaries. He told the IGP, and I quote him, that in his capacity as the chairman, he superintended over the Congress and submitted a report with a summary result sheet to the APC National Secretariat. That a couple of days ago, he was furnished with a court process by the legal department of his party from the Federal High Court, Abuja, between Stephen Leo Ntukepo, the suspect, and 2 others, and APC and 3 others, where his signature was forged on several documents purported to be the result of Akwa Ibom State Congress. The police said further, the petitioner denied and claimed that the documents are fake and the signature contained therein forged. The police in the report also said that after going through the facts, statements of parties and documents attached therein, it was observed that, and I quote, all the 7-man committee gave a statement to the police and they corroborated each other that election was held, votes counted in the presence of security agencies and delegates. Ekanem was announced and declared the winner with 1,278 votes, except Akim Ayo Babalola, whose statement differs from the 6 members of the committee that there was no enough time to count the ballot papers one after the other, as it was already late. That the chairman, Honorable Yusuf Sharif Banki, just announced the prepared list he has as winners of the Congress elected, and that he did not sign the report as he was not happy with the report. It was further observed that Akim Ayobabala, in his statement to the police, did not disclose who was announced or declared as the winner of the election. It was also observed that records received from both the Independent National Electoral Commission and the All Progressives Congress headquarters revealed that Augustine Ekanem is the state APC chairman of Uyo Akwa Ibom State. That the police extended the investigation to the national chairman of APC and INEC to avail them with the certified true copy of the result sheet and documents showing the winner. And the result sheet showed that Augustine Ekanem is the winner. that Akim Ayobabala, who denied in his statement not to have signed the report as he was not happy with the report, documents supplied to the APC to the police shows he signed the report. It is also observed that the suspect altered a copy of the All Progressives Congress summary results sheet, which returned him as the winner of the election held in Akwa Ibom State, purportedly signed by the complainant, and used same in support of his claim in suit number FHC/ABJCS/1635/2021 before the Federal High Court in Abuja, wherein is the first plaintiff. From the facts and available evidence in the case file, we are of the considered opinion that a primary facie case of impersonation and forgery has been established against the suspect, Stephen Leo Nkukepo, and therefore advise that the suspect be charged to court accordingly. This is respectfully forwarded to the Deputy Inspector General of Police for information and further directive, please. But still speaking on the issues around the primaries and concerns about Igini's stance regarding the exercise, Honorable Yibo said personal sentiments should not be allowed to affect the activities of an organization like INEC. He expressed his reservations over Igini's stance on the earlier primaries, adding that such comments go against what the Commission should stand for in terms of impartiality. He said 21 days notice is the statutory requirement for all parties to inform INEC of its primaries, and all the parties, including the APC, notified INEC of the conduct of its primaries across the country. So, in this case of the APC, he said Nkukepo wrote to INEC informing it of the venue, date of the conduct of the governorship, Senate, House of Reps, and State House of Assembly primaries in full compliance with the Electoral Act. Here I quote him, that is Eseme Yibo. It is the responsibility of INEC as an institution to engage its administrative procedures once the notice is given. It must not necessarily be the Resident Electoral Commissioner, but the law stipulates that the political party must give 21 days statutory notice. So the question is this: did the political party issue this 21 days notice? Did they notify INEC of the venue, time, and date? The answer is yes. Whose responsibility is it to send monitors to go to that place? It is INEC's responsibility. And when INEC refuses to send its personnel to go to that place, can a political party be punished for INEC's absence? The answer is no. End of quote for Igbo. He also said that INEC needs to improve on the electoral process. I quote him again. He, that is Igini now, acted not only ultra vires, he acted in contempt of his oath of office as a public officer. He conducted himself in a way and manner that was suggestive of not a representative of an INEC that is supposed to be impartial. What Igini is doing, can he function in his public duties using his personality to represent INEC in cases which are purely out of his control? We are not promoting ethical values and institutional integrity. It's like we are promoting a personal conflict. Eyibo, who said he wasn't speaking on behalf of Akpabio of the party, said his concern was because whatever affects the party affects him as a candidate. He said further, INEC has done very well to improve on the electoral system, but that is not enough. Their officers should detach their personal opinions and sentiments from the institution. As a political party, we are going to have post-primary conflict here and there. So what we are trying to do now is to engage a series of conflict management strategies, talk to party members, and we are lucky to have very strong personalities in APC in Akwa Ibom State. On the issue of governorship, when Igini said APC has no candidate, that is not right. Our governorship candidate, Akanimo Udofia, has been most celebrated in recent times. Contributing to this discourse was legal luminary and a senior advocate of Nigeria, Femi Falana, who spoke in an interview with Arise Television. In that interview, Falana expressed worry at the lackluster attitude of the political leadership of the country to obey simple laws. According to Falana, Section 115D of the Electoral Act 2022, has criminalized double registration during the same electoral cycle. He said, so you can't say that you took part in the presidential primary and you took part in the senatorial primary at the same time. Under that section of the law, double nomination attracts 2 years imprisonment. Again, I will expect INEC to draw the attention of the APC to the provision of the law that you are playing with fire. That section, in respect of nomination offenses, states that when a person signs a nomination paper or result form as a candidate in more than one constituency at the same election, he is guilty of an offense. The Chief Press Secretary to the INEC Chairman, Rotimi Oyekomi, has also spoken on the issue. Oyekomi said, the Commission is not under obligation to publish the name of any candidate not validly elected in a properly organized primary election monitored by INEC. It's in the Electoral Act 2022. However, contrary to this position, as witnessed in the case of Akwa Ibom and in some others, including Kano, INEC appears to have taken two or contrary positions. For instance, in Kano State, where the REC, Professor Risikua Shehu Arabu, addressed the press not long ago, he said the only governorship primary the state office monitored produced the son of late dictator, General Sani Abacha, that is Mohamed Abacha, as the governorship candidate of the People's Democratic Party. However, when the list from the Independent National Electoral Commission for the state elections arrived at the Kano State office of INEC, the name on that list had changed. It was now Ambassador Sadiq Wali that was listed as the governorship candidate of the PDP. And based on the fact that the REC had submitted Abacha's name, and this is also based on the fact that the primaries where Abacha emerged was the one monitored by INEC, this appears to be contrary to what INEC is preaching. According to Section 84(1) of the Electoral Act 2022, a political party seeking to nominate candidates for elections under this act shall hold primaries for aspirants to all elective positions, which shall be monitored by the Commission. However, in the case of Kano State, that of Wali was not monitored by INEC, as stated by the REC. Section 21(9) of the 2022 Electoral Act provides that only candidates that emerge from valid primary can be submitted to INEC for publication. Section 84(13) states that where a political party fails to comply with the provision of the Act, INEC shall reject the name submitted to it by the same political party. And that is where the challenge is in the case of Akwa Ibom State, where only 2 of the 26 names submitted to INEC by the Ntukekbo-led executive for recognition and for listing was picked. The other 24 candidates were picked from the faction not recognized by the court and not recognized by the national headquarters of the INEC. This then means that the APC will not have a governorship candidate in Akwa Ibom State if this position stands. And it is on this note that those who are involved in the Akwa Ibom APC chapter are worried that both the INEC and the REC in the state, Mike Igini, are not running by both the law and what they preach. There can be more views to this, as we have always encouraged. You can contribute to this program by sending us a 2-minute video or an email of not more than 500 words to Dotun Oladipo at theeagleonline.com.ng and info@theeagleonline.com.ng. Again, Dotun Oladipo at theeagleonline.com.ng and info@theeagleonline.com.ng. Don't forget, Talking Politics with Dotun Oladipo now has a collaboration with another YouTube channel, News Pop NG. As you like and share the videos on Talking Politics with Dotun Oladipo, please do the same with News Pop NG. Till we meet in our next edition, bye from this end.